Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be trying something a little new. Most months I've been trying to do a monthly wrap up. I've been reading between 8 and 12 books every month, and talking about that all in one video every month is makes a really long video, and no one wants that. Me, you, nobody, quite frankly. So Haley in Bookland does a thing, and I will link her down below. I really love her videos. She's very happy and upbeat, just seems like a genuinely good person. But Haley does a thing where she goes over like the last 6 books or the last 5 books she read, and she just does that in groups. There's no time frame on it. It's just in clumps of books. I think she used to do 6 and she's gone down to 5. Anyway, I am going to be trying something like that, except I am not going to do 5 or 6. I'm going to start with 3. We're going to see how it goes. So this is, just having a little chit chat with you about the last 3 books that I read. Oh, also, if you're wondering about the bunny in the corner, my daughter, if you watched my last video, my daughter likes to help me and participate, but I don't. She's 7 years old. I'm not gonna let her on screen on YouTube or Twitter or pretty much anywhere else. So her stuffies are guest starring for the time being and the videos here at Literary Weaponry. So today this is, oh, hold her up. This is Rose, because for ears, this was her Easter bunny this year. So Rose is going to be joining me today and discussing books. So the first one that I would like to talk to you about is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal. Bunny's curious too. Now, We Hunt the Flame is the first book of her Sands of Arawaya duology. The first book came out, came out in May of 2019. Now, this is actually a, I read this for the first time right after the pandemic started in 2020. So I believe it was either late April or early May of 2020. And this book was the best escapism. Like, obviously when we were all stressed, we were all freaking out, at least I was. And this book was amazing escapism. So I decided to read it again, except this time, last time I read it, here's the hard copy. This time I read it as an audiobook. So I'm gonna put this down. I'll put a picture up instead because I don't like standing here holding this, or sitting, as the case may be. But this is it's billed as a YA fantasy. I feel like it leans more into the new adult, like it's very borderline and that, but it is a fantasy featuring a character named Zafira. Now Zafira comes from a small village that, well, it's cursed. No, I wouldn't quite say cursed. It's had some bad happenings due to magical mishaps. So if you call that cursed, we can go with that. But her village was once a great sandy, warm, welcoming place. And since in Arawaya, which is the land that we're hanging out in the story, magic disappeared. And once magic disappeared, they started, her village and the area surrounding it got really cold. It got covered in snow, and the villagers, the people who live there, had to figure out how to live whenever they'd grown up and were experienced with sand and sun and a lack of rain, and now all they have is snow and cold. So they had to adjust to that. And one of the things Zafira does is she helps feed the people. To do that, she goes down out of her village and into a magical forest. Now this forest kills anyone who enters it except Zafira. Now, because she can do this, the Sultan has decided that he wants to have a little chit chat with her. And he sends people to go and capture her, who she leads into the forest, and incidentally they are killed. She doesn't do it on purpose. Zafira she tries to be a really good person. She's just trying to help people out. She's trying to feed her people. She's trying to survive. But these folks come after her, and she, what's she gonna do? She's just gonna let them? The Sultan is known for being a bad person. That happens. But in this story, She and, oh, what's his name? Nasir. Nasir is the son of the Sultan, and he is an assassin, and he's an excellent one. People fear him. And like everyone knows that the son of the Sultan is an assassin. It's not like a hidden mystery. But Nasir and Zafira end up going to, it's an island that is used as a magical prison. And they're trying to recover a book of magic to try and, you know, sort things out with in Arwaya. Because like I said, the land is cursed. This book, We Hunt the Flame, is so beautifully written. It is a wonderful story. I absolutely love it. All the characters are very well defined. They're very interesting. If you enjoy fantasy on a more, you know, new adultish level, I would highly recommend this book. The next book I want to talk about is A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, I have a hair in my face, by Catherine Moon. This is the first book in her, I believe she said it's going to be a trilogy, but right now there's just this one book out. It's from her Tempting Monsters series, which I read as available through Kindle Unlimited. And this book was actually recommended by Katie Robert. Now, Katie, man, my hair is just getting all in my face. Okay, so the series is recommended, this book in particular is recommended by Katie Robert, who wrote most recently Neon Gods. She is known for writing adult erotic fantasy with inspirations from historical figures. And The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor is right up that alley. I think she calls it her monster, well, one of her monster fucking books. Anyway, let's move on for that concept. Because saying it out loud, I feel a little awkward, so let's just move along. So in this book, we have our main character. I'm not seeing her name in this. Hold on. Esther. Her name is Esther. She willingly employs herself at a very upscale brothel catering to monsters. Yeah. So her clientele include characters inspired by like Jekyll and Hyde. There's a golem. There's a vampire. We also have a sphinx. I know I'm missing one. Oh, and the Invisible Man. That's her little reverse harem. Now this book, like, it has a plot, but like no one's reading erotic fantasy for the plot, let's be honest. And overall, like, I gave this 3 stars. I might, you know, 3.5 maybe. It was a fun read. It was really simple. It was entertaining. It kept me distracted from all the crap going on in the world and around me right now. You know, it was lovely escapism. And when I'm reading, like, that's one of the things I look for most is escapism. And this book did that. Obviously, it's not going to be for most people, and that's okay. Just like Katie Robert isn't for most people, and that's okay too. Either way, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it a 3.5 stars. If you enjoy that kind of thing, like, I highly recommend it. Like, it's great escapism. There's a vague plot. There's a lot of good scenes. So, you know, if you like it, give it a shot. It's free on Kindle Unlimited if you have that. So, you know, what could go wrong? Now I'm going to go back and get my tiny little girl, because I didn't really want her to hear me talking about Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. Didn't seem like a good idea, so I'm gonna go grab her. And Rose has returned. Alright, so let's talk about our third book that I have read recently. Third one, and actually came out very recently. This book came out on May 25th, 2021, as of me yakking at you today. It is June 5th, so very recently. Actually just finished it just a few days ago. And this is A Touch of Malice which is the third book in the Hades and Persephone series by Scarlett St. Clair. And this book is, the series features one of my favorite things, which is a Hades mythology retelling. That is my jam. I don't know why I am so drawn to Hades retellings, which is why I ended up with kind of weird books like the one I read last time, because that's the kind of thing you stumble across when you're looking for Hades retellings, right? But this one, it is the third book in the series, so I'm not going to get too much into the plot. But I will say, for her Hades and Persephone trilogy, I really enjoyed the first two books. Like, Hades is depicted exactly as I picture him in my head. He's a big, imposing figure. He holds a lot of power. He defines a lot of what he does on logic and not on emotion. But at the same time, he's got a soft, gooey center, and he only shows it every now and then. And you know, it's kind of my jam. I like that. So I know if you know anything about Greek mythology, Hades finds Persephone, and she has to stay with him half the year in the underworld. The other half of the year she can be with her mother, Demeter. Oh, I've never actually said that out loud. How do I say that, Demeter? I don't know. Demeter. I've never actually heard her name said. So take that up with what you will. But in this, no, Persephone is willingly with Hades in the underworld. She's at war with her mother, quite frankly. And the first two books were magnificent. Like I said, Hades was big, imposing, a little bit of a soft spot for Persephone. And none of these books really like Persephone really well. She came off as a little too innocent, a little too trusting, a little too open to, and that just doesn't suit my preferences a lot, but I like Hades enough that I continued with the series. The first two books, I believe I gave it a 4 out of 5, but this one, A Touch of Malice, I only gave a 2 because so much character build-up and plot build-up had occurred in the first two books, and then we get to this third one and it's like half of that's been forgotten about. The characters have started questioning themselves again when part of the first two is them finding themselves. The plot just grinds to a halt as they're dealing with, you know, emotional drama. Hades has lost all of his dark and broodiness. He's just like a big soft gooey center now, and he makes weird jokes, and it makes me uncomfortable. But no, it's just, I don't know. This third book was a huge disappointment. I'm still going to continue with the series just because the first two were so enjoyable, but like my expectations will be lowered slightly. Like if you enjoy Hades retellings like I do, like I highly recommend this series. The first two are quite good, and I know Scarlett can do better than what she delivered in A Touch of Malice. So, you know, that's a thing. I don't know, the end of this book set up really well for the next one, so I do have high hopes. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything because this is the third in a series, but things happen. It's interesting. It's a relatively, the ending is good. The last like 50 to 100 pages are really good. The rest of this, which is 418 pages total, so like 300 pages of this was just boring plot backup, like rehashing things that had already happened, and it just got on my nerves. But I will continue with the series, and yeah, those are the last 3 books that I read. This didn't take very long, did it? I might need to add a 4th next time, but we'll see. We're playing this by ear. Just as a recap, as of this date, which I said June 5th, I have now read 53 books for my yearly challenge. My yearly challenge is only 52. This is the quickest I've ever got to that number. Usually we're in November whenever I hit it, so this is a big deal to me, all right? So yeah, last 3 books I read. You want to tell me something you think I should read or something similar, or if you just think my opinions on these books are shit, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.